Hello! Welcome to the second to last episode of Therapist Plays Disco Elysium. It is actually finally time to close this series out for real. I've already finished the game, I rolled credits on it, and I couldn't be more excited to have gone on this journey with all of you and also to be done with it. Okay, yeah, as sentimental as it is to finish a year and a half long project, it's also quite a relief. You know, the channel has grown significantly since I started the series, and I've grown a lot as well since starting it. And so I have a very strong attachment to it as a creative project and the world of Disco Elysium. But it's also time to say goodbye. So I'll leave my last bit of thanks for the actual last episode. I thought that this recording was going to be the last one. I really sat down and was just determined to play it until the end. Take a look at the length of this video to see why that's not the case. This conversation with the deserter ended up being a little more substantial than I expected. And so I did a final monologue and then decided to do another last episode. So I cut the monologue out of this one and just kind of moved it ahead. So this one gets right into the action. And with that said, it's time to finish this. I hope you enjoy. It's time to solve the case. This great blast door must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off. Okay. Can we open it?
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
How do we open this?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, and at the lock.
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
Okay, so let me open the big one. Do you see the controls anywhere?
I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
Okay, what do you think is on the other side, Kim?
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
Okay. So maybe we mess around with some of the stuff up here. Got a scarf. Empathy scarf. Is this a found shirt? Ah! If we finally completed the found set. We've got a hat, shirt, windbreaker, and sneakers. Well, regardless of whether or not these are the skills that I need, I kind of have to go full found for this for this one. Were there any found gloves? I don't think so, unless I missed them. Oh, there were. Yeah, look at my boy. We finally completed something. Well, this is maybe the only thing in the game so far that we have truly found closure in. Here at the end.
Oh, glorious Folnier. You wear the full set like a true born.
Yes!
The ultimate performance of fun flows in you.
It's like I can do anything.
You are literally untouchable. A god among mere men.
That's right. That is literally how I feel.
Go on. The fucking sunset awaits, Fountain Rider.
Let's go! The sunset awaits. Kim, does Kim have anything to say about our cool outfit?
Yes?
No, he doesn't. Okay. I'll just assume he's internally impressed.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Okay, we've got fuel that we can put in the tank. Where do these wires lead, Kim?
Downstairs, somewhere?
What kind of generator is it?
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout.
He points to the open fuel cap on the side of the dynamo.
The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Let's give it a tap.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
What does this mean?
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
Okay, Kim. It's an odd thing to clarify at this stage in the game. Okay. I have found you to be someone with many poignant observations on life, on character, to be a trusted and stable companion in this long and shaky journey of mine. And, you know, as much as, like, I see the end of Disco Elysium as a journey for myself, we're also about to see the end of the journey for these two, not just Harry. You know, for Harry, the main narrative question, psychological question I'm wondering about is, like, have we changed enough? Have we changed enough from the person that we had become, right? Regardless of how we became that person. At the end, before we drove our motor carriage into the ice, we had become someone we were no longer willing or comfortable being. And we've been given a second chance. It's a second chance to reshape, to reauthor who we want to be in this world. And have we done enough for that? But there's also a similar question for Kim. You know, he hasn't just been beside us this whole time. I wonder what he thinks about the changes he's been through. One thing's always been clear is that he's been on our side since the very beginning. And we've had our ups and downs. But him saying this right now makes me wonder if he's not also thinking philosophically about what the end of this journey means. I meant, why is it here, Kim?
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Let's pour some fuel into that boy.
The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch.
Let's give it a pull.
The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Oh, okay. So, generator is full.
Soft covers, serialized.
Okay. Seem to remember we didn't have the skills to do that particular thing. Is there anything up here before we check out that other side of the island? Now, let's check out what's over here before we go over there. The hatch is jammed shut.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Let's just skate our fingers across it.
The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
What is it
The
then?
console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out, they terminate here.
Could this open the blast door?
I think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
Oh, but there's some other buttons to push. And some things to slide. Let's check out that radio dial.
The dial slides under the glass, dark and silent. Restoring electric power has not breathed life into it.
Okay, let's give the lights a push.
The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange.
All right. Time for the emergency open.
Blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Okay. That's one mystery solved. Wow.
A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
After you.
Oh, Half-Light is saying that we're scared. Why, Harry? Why are you scared?
Don't be. I have a gun.
Fuck yeah, you do. All right, fuck it. We're not scared of shit, okay? We've got Kim by our side. I'm just gonna strong arm myself into believing that we've already been through the worst, okay? We've had our life or death moment. What could be waiting for us? Nothing worse that we haven't faced.
Harry, this reminds you, you're out of bullets.
My gun is out of bullets, by the
Then
way.
it's extra good that mine is not.
I feel safe now. I feel safe with Kim. What's over there?
I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit. The wind picks up, then dies down again.
Okay. Let's go. This is it, Kim. It's just you and me and whatever awaits us there. A little bit of extra mag never hurt. A little bit of cash, too, I guess. Okay. Oh, what was that? Small white flowers blossom all around you. Super dingy. Okay. Who is this?
An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth,
The deserter.
then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
Is that a rifle?
He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Man, empathy coming in with like such a poignant bit of commentary here, because I know that feeling. You know, in the course of my work as a therapist, I've met a lot of people, and it's a very different kind of first impression you're looking for when you're trying to assess someone's mental health than if you were just meeting them as a person socially. And sometimes you meet people who just have a life in their eyes, you know, and they may have been through a lot of things, but there is such a clear translation of their mind state into like how they present to you. And that little bit we got of his character portrait and this description, I've seen this before too. And it creates an immediate feeling in you, like as you meet someone like this, you know, with the expectation that you're going to try to help them because you know you're up against a lot. Like whatever they've been through, whatever they've seen, whatever state of mind they're in, this is like climbing up a vertical wall to reach a point where we're looking for that self-discovery, that moment of change that points us in a different direction. So this has also got my anxiety going up because this might be tough. Are you the fire guy?
The what now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell 2 kids to put out their fire? 2 twins.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Or a military strategy.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Does he, like, still think we're at war? Or something? You've retained your eyesight.
My eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
A shudder of disgust passes his right side. His left side remains motionless.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator and used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
The boat engine. On the water.
Okay, that's it's kind of obvious now that I've asked it. It's a nice gun you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
It's at a Belle Margrave.
It's a Triangong 446.
Come on, Harry. Pick up the pace here.
A samurai rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
The Sinyao commune.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the board.
Well, I don't really feel the need to threaten him. We're already on equal combative odds. He's got his rifle there, not in a ready-to-fire position, mind you, but I've got my flashlight, which means I got high visibility on him. Okay, it's immediately demonstrating my authority, and I've got my Kvalsund. Okay, and I've got Kim here, who is a stable marksman. So I don't feel the need to threaten. I actually don't know if I need him to put down the rifle either. I'm not necessarily intimidated by him. I wonder why. I'm with the police. You can keep the gun, but keep it down. Not one move. Let's strike a balance here, you know? We're not really threats to each other, you and I.
No.
Okay, never mind. Kim is locked in.
Put it down now, sir.
All right. Yeah. This shows you what I've learned. Kim, you take the lead. Clearly, you have a better understanding of the threat level here than I do. My flashlight and my Kvalsund.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Okay. It's an effective maneuver there, Kim.
Like an amputated limb in the sand.
I mean, yeah, I don't feel the need to pick up the gun. Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol.
Oh man, the voice acting on this character is phenomenal. The communication that is coming from him, it's like his voice is just an engine. Like it's perfectly capturing that. There's just a tiny bit of emotion coming through, just enough for us to tell that he's completely defeated, maybe empty somehow. But the engine just keeps running.
I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turn to the reed skin, dead and dull.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08.
Okay.
I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed, and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Okay, I was about to be like, why the fuck are we doing math right now? This is why, guys. This is why my logic is is as it is. Good deduction, Harry. We just barely passed that. You've been on this island for 43 years.
No. I've been on other islands, too.
Why did it even need to make a fool of me in that case? Thanks, logic.
I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
So, but he's been hiding out overall for 43 years.
43 years and 10 months.
That's the length of my entire life. Is that true? Does it say 18 years in service? I guess that checks out. Yeah, probably 43 years.
It's too long. It's not how a human being should live. But I couldn't just forget what I saw.
He just couldn't.
Oh, man. It's like... It's like looking at someone who lost their volition. Like who we would become, our portrait, if volition wasn't there to sort of rally us time and time again. Even though we haven't always listened to volition, I think we've listened to it enough. And when we have ignored it, Kim has come in to sort of support an optimism or even just a realism that helps us keep going. But maybe this man lost his. He couldn't give up.
He nods. But he can now.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41. 2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects a series of burnt black letters splashed across the plaza mosaic.
I know who left that there.
Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smoldering. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Girl-child revolution.
Always.
So maybe he didn't believe in the cause. And he's been out here ever since. And this is a person who... He's held out this entire time, hoping for maybe society or the world to change. Still holding a space, like, ideologically, that the world can be a better place, but completely giving up the idea that he can be a better person in it. To me, he seems like someone who has, like I said, lost something fundamental about themselves that, like, helps them keep going, not just for like an external goal or an ideological goal, but for like an inner attachment to yourself. Like even the way he described like who he is was so devoid of emotion. Like he's lost any attachment to his name or who he was or the person that he is, which I think is probably really the death of your own volition. Because it's not necessarily an entity that lives inside you and believes in something better. It's you. It's the relationship you have with yourself. Nothing in history is guaranteed, but revolution is still a possibility.
No. The
He blinks his
material
black
base
eyes.
for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
So this guy is a communist. I have become adequately politically educated by this game at this point to be able to evaluate that this man believes in communism and not the scab leader by the gate who represents the exact opposite of communism. See, past Brady, he was politically illiterate, and this game has reshaped that. It's made me, it's given me a finer appreciation. It's opened my eyes to what is probably obvious to so many other people. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
Okay, I understand.
Like you belong to the moralist party.
So he does believe in the ideological ambitions of the side he fought for, but potentially not the war machine that he was wrapped up in. You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. Well, this feels more true to Harry and Kim. We are not coalition appointed. We just try to help people.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste d'Insolande. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
Oh man, this is tough. I mean, he believed so much in this cause. But I wonder if it didn't cost him his own identity in some ways. You know, I kind of see like a real contrast between the deserter and Harry. At least the way I think about Harry, the journey we've been on, and like kind of how I think about mental health in general, because I talked about this way back in an episode where I did an analysis on Kuno, where I talked about that like ecology of mental health. And I think maybe this is where like there's been some friction between my view on whether politics and mental health or therapy or whatever like have the same relationship as other people see them as. which is that, yes, they do impact one another. But I've always kind of maintained that, like, you have to work from the center out, from the person's identity being intact and being the source from which they draw their inspiration and motivation. And that can work its way out to a system like a school system, a political system, a law enforcement system. That's obviously my bias because, like, as a therapist, I work with people on a one-on-one basis, right? I have a lot of ambitions and desires for society to change, but I don't look to the macro systems to try to change them necessarily because it's just not my role in society. My role is to work with an individual, and hopefully that sends them with a higher capacity to make changes from the bottom up, right? From the center out. And maybe what I'm saying is also, like, completely delusional because, like, it's very optimistic that working from the center out on people and how they, like, interact with the world around them is slow, and some people are not open to the process, and so it doesn't really work. And so you need large scale macro changes, you need revolution, you need these things that are blunt force ways of changing large societal and ideological shifts. Like, I think all of that is true as well. I'm not positioning my opinion as, like, the better of the two. I'm just saying that it's the one that, like, my intuition tells me that, like, when I think about trying to solve some of the world's problems, that's a capacity I know I can contribute. I'm not going to be very effective being a combat soldier or a political agent. Like, the thing I found to be effective in my small scope is working with individuals to make their lives better and hoping that they go into society and make society better as a result. And even that process doesn't always work.
Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
You never signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Only the army. Liberal reactionaries signed it for them. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I am a political commissar of the Communist Party, and the party never surrendered.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
Yeah. Despite everything I've said, like, I can't fault someone for trying to change the world from a macro or a structuralist or a political angle. I don't think that that's wrong or not worthwhile at all. I think I just don't want to forget the idea that it's possible to also work from the other angle. So I can't co-sign that that's necessarily not the correct thing to do. But I have a hard time saying that it's honorable as well, because I just empathize with the person I'm sitting in front of, and I see someone very broken, and I wonder if there wasn't a different future for them. The best I can say is that I understand. I can understand why.
I don't think you did. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, and sporting goods. It's not real.
You said you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
16 years old. So he's completely lived the rest of his life in isolation as well. A lapse of faith.
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took.
For what?
For reaction to take hold.
What's reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
It wasn't a reaction. You were just afraid.
It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
And this was when?
Lieutenant instinctively looks to his notebook, but does not take it out.
May the 13th, '08. 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic.
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower,
He gestures towards him.
huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
A terrible shame, still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
I don't know, man. I just have a different, like, part of me that tells me, like, these are not the parts of you to be ashamed of. They're the parts that need the most nurturing. Like the part of you that was afraid, that instinctively knew that, like, this is not how people should be living, like tearing each other up, tearing up the streets, destroying society. Like, the part of you that screamed out to get away from that is not like some sort of damaged, fearful, cowardly instinct. Like, that's the part of your humanity that is fucking working, that tells you that this is like fucking wrong, like that we shouldn't be at fucking war with each other, we shouldn't be destroying anything. I have a hard time like demonizing someone's instinct to abandon a conflict when, like, to me, that's your emotional system working correctly. We're not supposed to be fucking killing each other ever. And that's what I worry that, like, you know, complete allegiance to political ideologies and things like that lead to, is it convinces you that if you stop fighting for a cause that is designed to destroy a different cause, then it makes you a weak person. When I'm like, no, this is the part of you that is like trying to survive a situation that no human should ever have been in to begin with. And I know that that's like totally living in a fantasy, because like we do have this conflict, and I realize that many people are going to have to live with this anyways, because that just is the reality. We are at war. We do fucking kill each other. And we hate other people for being different. Like, I know that's reality. That doesn't mean I have to like it. And that doesn't mean that as I'm sitting in front of someone who is not at war right now, that I wouldn't try to ask them to re-nurture this part of them. You know, like I said, my role in life, my role in society, like when I think about solving the world's problems, I'm limited. My capacity is I'm a therapist. That's it. And I'm not, you know, a therapist in a war zone. All of the people who I've done counseling with who are veterans, they come to see me for rehabilitation, you know, for reintegration either into society or reintegration of these parts of themselves that were fundamentally damaged because of what they went through. And I have had that experience. You know, I've done therapy with soldiers, and I can't ever claim to relate or understand the lengths that they had to go through or the horrors that they've seen. And like, that's not my role to them. My role to them and to everyone is to help them repair the parts of them that they have either stopped trying to repair or have learned to allow to stay damaged because they needed them to be damaged to survive. They needed to turn off that flight instinct. and completely rely on the fight instinct. That's many times the experience of post-traumatic stress disorder in the therapy that I've done with combat veterans is those emotions surface in situations that they're not under attack. Their life's not in danger, but they are like feeling that instinct. And like, that's the point that we have to rehabilitate. We have to nurture the emotional part of them, whether it's like their volition or their self-empathy or whatever it is that's been like conditioned to be turned off or pushed aside because it was actually dangerous to their survival in this situation. Like, I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, you were wrong to do that because of whatever, but I can sit here and say it's wrong to still hold that against yourself all this time later. I can empathize with why this was the thing to do at the time, but right now, I want you to empathize with changing the idea. Now that you're no longer in this situation, it's okay to forgive yourself for what was a human instinct. Like, that's my responsibility to people, is to teach them to re-nurture those parts of themselves. Not to try to make sense of why they did it necessarily, or was there something better to do. It's like, now, in the aftermath, you have to live with yourself and with the fact that you did this and who you are going to be. And let's work on that. You didn't go to the map room.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
Oh, this is heartbreaking, man, because he was just a fucking kid. We can't, like, forget that, yeah, we're looking at a grizzled old man here, but what he's talking about, he was a child, a 16-year-old in a combat zone with people dying around him, and I don't think that you did something wrong, man. You should have never had to fight for that. None of us should.
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction.
He opens his eyes.
I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
And stares right through you.
Some kind of great terror, worse than you've ever seen.
Seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed.
That is the sad part of this, is he's completely right. Like, unfortunately, the way our world is set up, we have the capacity to completely obliterate and annihilate each other. And to do that, to accomplish that, for political reasons, economic reasons, cultural reasons, you have to switch off and put a facade over all of the things that are very special to me, like speaking therapeutically. All of those essential emotional alarm systems and virtues and values that tell you how it should be to be a person. Like, you have to turn that stuff off. And it is not a situation where, okay, you're done with the war now, turn them back on. Just turn them back on. We've created this situation where, as a fucking child, we sent you into life or death to kill other people. Turn off all of those things that make you human. Now just turn them back on. Just go back. Just go live with everyone else. Man, like, yeah, it really does get to me because, like I said, I've had a couple clients who are veterans, and every single time I've been happy to take on that responsibility to, like, okay, I'm the person sitting in front of you who's going to try to help you nurture and rehabilitate those things. Can we turn them back on? But it breaks my heart that it is just this person has been tossed aside by the machine that told them to go do those things. And then decades later, they've had no support to rehabilitate them. And then they end up in my office, often so deeply enmeshed in the survival instinct over decades and decades and decades that it feels like there is no on switch to some of these things anymore. And I'm sitting in front of them trying to tell them, like, you're okay. You're a good person. Like, you fought for what you believed in, and you've had to deal with more consequences than you ever deserved for that. And everything that I'm trying to tell them that is designed to, like, help them work on this stuff and nurture these parts of them was completely carved away from them by the system that put them in that situation, the war machine or whatever it was. It's those have been some of the most heartbreaking cases, for sure, because there are times where I feel out of my depth in the therapeutic process. You know, cases where I'm wondering if there's any way back from what this person has experienced, and is it delusional for me to hold out hope for them? I don't know. I do it anyways. But I would say those in particular, the couple of veterans that I've done therapy with, those are ones I remember. Like I said, it feels like you're trying to scale a vertical wall.
And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
What?
That the bourgeois are not human.
I'm gonna let him finish.
I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it. What is this place, this island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
What was it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
You mean the landing, retaking the Revachol?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
While there is an urge to separate myself, Harry, from who he's talking about, I don't think that that's going to help in this situation to clarify this, like, to defend that point. I'm just going to affirm that it's the coalition military who talks like that.
Iblis,
The
the black-eyed angel.
How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
I am curious to investigate this point. And I have two minds about it. One is that, like, from the therapist perspective, right, like, my agenda is to motivate healing of the parts of this person who were switched off and shaved away because of their experiences. And so I might sometimes challenge a point like this, right? Could you have done something to create the system? I don't think that he's going to be accepting of that. I think that to him will sound like surrender, but I am curious.
You're insane and grotesque. Everyone steals. Vegetables, supplies. It's the life of a dog.
He coughs once more, then puts his hand in his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Because one of the main points of contention I can see here is that what he's talking about being so ideologically driven to stop the war machine that was destroying humanity. But look what his view of humanity is. Everyone steals. It's the life of a dog. He's not able to humanize himself or anyone else at this point. And so I wonder, what are we still fighting against? Or what are we still fighting for? Are we fighting for the soul of humanity? If we still think it's completely black and tainted at its roots?
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
You need to be looked over and we can do it.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
How have you coped mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll into his skull and back.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
You notice the lieutenant is about to say something. Let's let Kim involve himself.
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult mentally to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round.
And this is another thing that it's not that I would say it's a disagreement between myself and the deserter here. Because again, I can really empathize with the idea that all of the things that his mind needs to empathize with other people have been taken away from him because of his experience. So that's caveat number one. But to look around at people who are growing up in this world who have nothing to do with what happened to it, whether that be Harry or Kim or Kuno or any of us, we are also victims of this situation, and the life path that we've had to choose for someone like Harry and for someone like Kim. If they are someone who wants to do good and help people, maybe the RCM is one of the only opportunities. We were not looking at it necessarily to go into it and say, yeah, I fully believe in the moral intern's cause and I want to be an agent for the coalition who the deserter is against. It wasn't ideologically driven. It was centrally driven by our own personally held values. And that's just the system that we might have grown up in, and that's the opportunities that we had. And they're not always going to be perfect. As myself, an agent of change for mental health, I don't like the system that I have to work in either. I think the United States healthcare system is so fucking stupid, limiting, garbage, and needs a complete rewrite. But if my ideology told me you disagree with it, so don't work within it, then I would do nothing. And I would rather work inside of that system with a limited capacity and still make a difference, even if that difference is handicapped by the system that I have to work in, than desert the whole thing. And so I disagree that it seems like he has kind of I don't know if it's a hatred. It did say he hates everything, but that he holds it against people for trying to re-survive in this broken world, to restart society, to enjoy things, to fucking get shoes and ice cream and have happy experiences and build families. Why resent that? It's just people trying to live. even if we disagree with the system that allows for it, or if the system's fundamentally broken. So while I can't align myself to what he's talking about, I absolutely don't blame him for having that idea. Because at the fucking age of 16, he was put in a situation where this idea was basically forced upon him by the nature of having to survive it, and it just never went away.
It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the tens. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking Kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted.
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the wire. And that's like a really sad truth about what he's saying as well, which is that he probably could walk straight into the commons of Martinez and not look out of place, because society really hasn't resurrected itself. And you know, I don't know a ton about the developers of this game or the ethos behind their writing, other than what people have shared with me in the comments section of these videos in this series. Mostly because, like, to do any sort of outside reading might have exposed me to spoilers, so I've avoided it. But I have developed an understanding throughout playing it that the writers have done a very good job of putting characters in this world that sort of represent both extreme versions and nuanced versions of, like, archetypes of belief. You know, I don't think they write a character like Everett Clare and then write a character like Joyce and think that they have equal amount of belief and validity to both of these people who believe very different things. They're self-aware enough to position, like, multiple ideological perspectives to form them around these characters as a representation of, like, what's really out there in the world. And what's really out there in the world are absolutely people, potentially, especially those who align with the ideas of communism, who feel, like, so utterly defeated by the sick, destructive force and omnipotence of capitalism. And, like, how could anyone blame someone for having that perspective? Because we can all see it too. Like, well, not all of us, actually. I'll say that some, or plenty. What I can tell is that the creators of Disco Elysium have a fundamental optimism about the human condition and spirit, because otherwise they wouldn't have given us so many opportunities to repair that human spirit through how you redevelop Harry, but also how you interact with the world. And this idea about the Pale, about how the world degrades the more people are disconnected from one another, and all of these things. I think that they have a fundamental optimism, but that optimism exists in parallel to this idea, which is such an absolute pessimism about the state of humanity and its potential to resurrect itself from conflict. And I think that that's the brilliance of this game and its writing, is like to make the optimistic point of view clear. You have to position someone like this because it helps you clarify that viewpoint when you can contrast it. It's kind of like a foil, a narrative foil, that their contrasting elements make more clear and obvious their differences. It's also just hard not to caveat that with saying that there's such an inherent lifelessness to, you know, this very pessimistic view that I fully can understand why the world appears this way to him. I can't blame him at all for that. It's not his fault. It's not even his fault for not trying to change it. I just sit here as a person who tries to help people change their mental health later in life and say, is it possible to change it? Like, can we do it? If I were too pessimistic, there would be no point in being a therapist, because that would mean I fundamentally don't believe in the capacity for people to change from even seemingly impossible states of mind. Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
The weapons cache under St. Lane, 22B. In the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were.
Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Because then I just think of like the gentleman, I forget his name, who was talking about the Feld building with his son, you know, and just had such an inherent optimism and kindness to like educating his son on what this building was and the technological innovations that it provided. And I don't think that's necessarily to say that he was trying to protect the kid from understanding that maybe a lot of this technological innovation was used for propaganda and war efforts. There's a time and a place to learn about those things. And it's not as a fucking child, and it's not the time and the place for, well, a child, but anyone to have to go to war, but especially a child, like this gentleman was. Society really failed this man so utterly and completely that it is absolutely on society to rehabilitate him. But society is also the enemy in his mind. Like, it's just such an impossible conflict. But that's what it means to be human, is that impossible means nothing. We try anyways.
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Tell me something else.
The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay.
There's the whole ideology right there. Class war is never over, which he's not wrong about, let's say, ideologically. But do I think that living in this mindset is healthy? Absolutely not. Like, not to the point that, like, he literally means war. Like, an ideological war, fine. But, like, actual killing people kind of war, one day I hope it has to be over.
This is it. You can feel it. Like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
Oh, the reaction speed. That's got to be from all of our fucking Faln gear. Yeah, our reaction speed is normally bad. Oh, no, we only have one bonus from that. But what?
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot.
Where we discover that he's the one who shot the mercenary?
The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't actually think that this is a very satisfying conclusion for Harry. Satisfying narratively for, like, Brady playing the video game? Absolutely. This is, like, the most brilliant shit that Disco Elysium could come up with, I think, if what I'm thinking is correct. But for, like, the idea of Harry wanting to solve a crime where, like, crime solving is about discovering motive and these sorts of things, but to learn that the killing didn't really have a strong personal connection, like, it's someone who's been so lost and, like, ejected from society, whose behaviors are not really matching, like, a clear cause and event from, like, recent events. That they're the consequence of him living his life out here and still being stuck on being at war. Essentially, that the killing has very little to do with anything that we've been doing this entire time is so, like, amazing for the narrative and for this game, but I would imagine being, like, really jarring as a detective.
Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
So you're saying you killed people after active fighting
What
stopped?
did I just say?
He shakes his head erratically, suddenly. He brushes something out of his eye.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Fuck it, let's just say it. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cornell?
The who now?
See, exactly. I don't think he even fucking knows who this guy is. The corpse in ceramic armor, hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him?
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
He has no fucking idea about, like, any of the other stuff.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do
This is so
not
brilliant.
collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Tear into him. Pile it on him. Everything you got on him. The more, the better.
No, I'm not with Half-Light. This isn't like a gotcha moment. This is fucking sad. I'm, like, smiling because it's amazing narratively, but, like, fucking heartbroken spiritually.
The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember.
I don't Talk to the dead man. He told me communism killed him. Absolutely, yeah. And this man is the archetypal representation of that, like by the writers, that it was defeated, but that it continues to drive on anyways.
Stupid dwat.
The lieutenant looks at you with worry in his eyes. Not this, he seems to say. Anything but this.
Fuck it. Let's get weird with it. Well, I actually kind of like this idea that it was intuition. It doesn't have to be like metaphysical, but there have been some weird metaphysical stuff in this as well. Let's ground it a little bit, because I still like this idea. Had he spoken, he would have said communism killed him. Or have paranatural abilities.
Intuition is an aberrant psychologism.
Yeah.
It reeks of crypto-fascism. The parasite class use intuition to justify their rank in life. It's all just palmistry and magic, Earl creatures.
It's just funny that he says it's, yeah, okay, of course the psychologically minded person likes the idea of intuition and he thinks it's garbage.
Your brain is rotting from the radio waves.
Yeah, that's true.
He does not answer the provocation. It does not look like he thinks this approach worked.
It didn't work.
Yeah, this just did nothing.
It did nothing.
Somehow you knew it was a communist.
Is this the miracle?
The miracle is still waiting. This is
But
the darkness.
But aren't I way out in the west?
You are. Soon it will happen.
Ow.
Perhaps you suspected it before you took the case.
Okay.
The vision was you remembering that.
But this did nothing.
Was it supposed to?
No, it was just confirming an idea we had earlier. But that was never going to blow the case open. Whether I told him I had a magical seance or that I had intuition, I think he would have equally dismissed that. I'll look deeper then.
Inland sea is dark, vast, and on the surface, meaningless.
Standing there, slack-jawed, brain festering.
Oh, do I get to... Can I just go back around?
Lieutenant, not this.
Let's
He's
try this.
Matter does not behave in such a way. Those are aberrant bourgeois musings. Magic.
Yeah.
Your brain is
He does not. Yeah, but still.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it.
standing there, slack-jawed, brain festering.
What am I forgetting?
Here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here, and Maybells on Clausia's balcony. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you.
Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you. Try to stick to thought processes by hitting yourself. I'm sorry, this didn't do anything. Usually hurting yourself does.
Officer, a word?
Excuse me for a moment. Yes, Kim?
I think we may have this.
The lieutenant whispers, then gives you the suspect a short glance. Do you think he did it?
From nothing to this in a day. This is good, Lieutenant Freighter. We just need a confession first, and then maybe a solid motive later.
That's the thing, man. I don't know if there is a solid motive. I'm slapping myself to get ideas
I
here.
can see that, yes. I'm not judging.
No, Kim, you're not. And that's why I love you. You I don't think he's ever really judged us. He's been concerned, but never judged. How do you think the questioning is going?
Good. We are doing very good.
Oh,
He wants to confess, I can see that. We just need to pile it on a little more. The more we have on him, the closer he is.
You hear that? He thinks you're this close.
okay. I'm trying to get him to confess.
Yes, good going. That should be our first priority.
So the fact that Kim is not like taking the lead here and being like, okay, look, Stop talking about Earl creatures and whatever else weird shit. Like, just get the case solved. Like, the fact that he doesn't just take over now that we finally got something does mean that he really does trust us at this point. And that was morale healing for us. What am I missing?
Ballistics. Let him cook here for a minute or two. We can have another look around the island for a sniper's nest. I think we should check out the post.
Oh, we're just gonna leave him?
Doesn't have to hold in court. Just establish a line of sight and he'll do the rest himself.
Also, the gun. We should pick it up and discuss it in front of him. Make a show of it.
Okay, let's do this.
Remember, he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything.
There is palpable excitement in his tone. He likes him for this. A lot. But there's something more, too. He thinks the deserter has more than just this case in him. 44 years here.
You think he has more than this case?
Oh, yes. And he hasn't spoken to anybody in a long time. If we get him open, who knows what will pour out.
Do we get to pat him on the back? Ah! It's healing. It's healing something in me. Okay, well, maybe we can pop around the island a little bit and check out if there was a sniper's nest. All right, let's see if we can find something. Maybe we can get up there this way. Aha! Oof. Not now, Harry. Don't let the pain be a distraction.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
The lieutenant looks around. He steps closer with his hand on his gun. Inspect
A
mattress.
single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Not now, Harry. We've had our little cigarette adventure. Let's back off.
The embrasure. What can you see through it?
Let's take a look at the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Let's check out that concrete.
Quite old and grimy, from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look at the hole through the concrete.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation, a tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water, the ruins look familiar.
On the left?
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B.
And on the right?
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
And between the two.
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop. The upstairs window of Clausia's room, in the snow, reflecting light.
Motherfucker.
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window?
Yes. There's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see to the
I
roof.
can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this.
Kim, I can make it. I can make the shot.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Finally.
In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. Interesting that this thought comes up for Harry right now. Because it's becoming more and more clear that, yeah, like, maybe shooting Lely had something to do with, you know, the deserter's ideology, like that he just sees it just anyone, you know, trying to exercise like ideological control as like the enemy, or I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more information out of him. But the truth is that like all the investigating we've done doesn't really mean anything. Like none of that stuff would have pointed us here. And I think that's brilliant for the narrative, because at the same time as all of those little things, Evrart, Joyce, the Hardy Boys, like all of the ideologies and systems that have played a part in us investigating the murder had like nothing to do with the deserter out here. The fact is that the deserter is only out here because of like decades of systemic problems in society still unwinding themselves. Like at the same time, he is directly attached to the case because he is the result of the state of the world as it was before what we're seeing right now. And at the same time, he's also not a result of any of the stuff that's happening right now. Like, they don't even fucking know he's out here. Like, they don't know who he is. He doesn't really have that much of a motive, it doesn't seem. So he's deeply connected to it in terms of the world is responsible for the deserter. And the deserter's unfortunate contribution to the world is more chaos, more uprooting of the systems that have tried to emerge and grow out of the cracks in the world that were left behind by these wars and that sort of thing. Like, exactly as Harry is saying here, 7 people are dead. None of this would have happened if the deserter hadn't shot that man. It also wouldn't have happened if we knew sooner that he was connected to it, but how could we have?
Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
It's true.
The lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him.
He feels it too. And it's okay to. It's okay to still regret that. Like, yeah, it's damaging to morale. It's okay, we'll just mag it up. We're pretty stuffed up on mag. It's okay to regret that and to see that things could have been different.
We will make up for it. Here, I feel it.
Because at the end of the day, we will make up for it. Fucking brilliant. Fucking excellent. This is such a great ending to the case. The fact that it has like everything and nothing to do with the investigation is so brilliant. But I wonder if like Harry and Kim see it that way. Or are they just sort of ready to be done with it? There was some sort of check that we were going to have to do with him, though, that had to do with, I think, composure. Maybe we should... Do we have anything that can help with that? I mean, we do have a skill point as well that we can use if needed. Hopefully the last one that we need. Pop on those snakeskin boys. Oh, this is ridiculous. These are the things. I think it was composure.
Minions of capital.
Yeah, it was.
What do you want?
Okay, let's pick up the gun.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stopped and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect it closely.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
It's as he said. It's one of those.
Personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
Book him, Kim.
No response from the old man. The his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
Let's use his jacketed ammunition.
Jacketed.
446.
Military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight. Good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
He says, mostly to the old man.
As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this.
Yeah. Yeah, and so am I. It's nice to finish the case and to feel like we're catching the murderer, but like, holy shit, is it tragic why this man is out here and why he is so broken and all of those things. And so it's like kind of bittersweet. It's like satisfying, but also like really tragic.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response. Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him later.
Yeah, let's take a look at his body language now.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who's spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild,
He's surprisingly okay.
indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated by what? By communism.
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. Great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief, despair.
Wouldn't a foul temper be a byproduct of his life? Well, it's kind of like what I've been getting at. Like, 16 years old, highly ideologically driven, but in a moment of fear for his own humanity and witnessing, like, horrific destruction and bloodshed, he deserted, but retained his views on what he's fighting for. And now he's been living out here for a literal lifetime in solitude and never developing any of those ideas further from how they were during the war. He's not had a natural cycle of maturity. He's had no companionship. Empathy has not been a driving survival instinct out here. I mean, like I said, you have to occupy two spaces with you're thinking about a person like this, which is like, it's bad what he did. He killed someone. It's probably poisonous for him to continue feeling this way now that the war is over. And at the same time, how can you blame him for being like this when before his own brain was developed, it was put under pressures psychologically that it never should have been, and completely damages people even when it happens to them later in life. But so early, like it's really tragic. And it's just a byproduct of his life.
Perhaps, but his seems more than that. The inner turmoil takes unexpected turns, as if forced on him in a way. In summary, you sense some underlying neurological disorder.
Possibly.
You've
Dementia?
seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Is it some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on.
Oh yeah, I suppose he could be on some kind of psychoactive substance.
No, I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Are you on amphetamines?
Like some kind of decadent rock star.
Okay. Are you okay? How's your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again, erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
fuck off, electrochemistry. It's like, where can I find some of that shit? One more time, Mr. Dross, the Colonel. We need to talk about you killing him.
Petty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Tear into him again. Pile it on him.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing. Let's start off. Let's ease into this.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
Hey! Hey! All right, look, buddy. I've held out a lot of empathy for you, okay? My empathy is, like, pretty highly tuned to my personality. I've been willing to sort of, like, put aside any prejudices about, like, nasty shit you're saying about me or Revachol or any of the people there. I'm even willing to, like, sort of step down my way to understanding why you would kill someone and demonize an entire society of people who are just trying to live their fucking lives. I've been kind of okay with all that. But if you talk to Kim like that again, I will fuck you up.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Oh, zero drama. Red check. I don't. Zero. Let's roll the dice.
Simpler? No. This is another loose thread you will never connect.
Goddamn footprints everywhere. I hate them.
Lieutenant raises his brow. What are you doing? He's thinking. We almost got him in. Not now. Stop yourself.
Stop ourselves from what? Is coughing stopping myself?
People change shoes, Detective. It was you. You were there, weren't you? Crawling and whirling in rags. What were you doing? Some kind of reconnaissance? Preparing the scene? Listening in on her?
Trying to rack your brains. You're desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. More. He's gonna crack. But you need a little more.
Maybell is behind the victim's window. I saw them growing here.
Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinaise, only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinaise is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
I wonder what the deserter would think of the man in the container. He was so wealthy he no longer lives in our reality.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
Oh yeah, get him with the pinball machine.
I may.
A young woman called Clausia. Ring any bells? Flowers like these were behind her window.
Clausia.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles of his jaw twitch. A spasm.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Almost. But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
We've done the ballistics. Point to the tower. The shot came from this island.
Saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
That's right.
You've been here a long time, Mr. Droz. Too long. You need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
You said fascies. You're admitting you killed him.
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
He waves his hand. There's a twitch. Then one more. One in his right eye.
Leave no stone unturned. Get him on what matters most.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
That's right. Snap out of it. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder
You know
weapon.
what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. Dramatically ask, you think we have the murder weapon? Look, why not? Okay, like, this is a big moment of victory for both of us, okay? We may as well enjoy it.
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon. The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
It does feel good. And tragic in a way.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. All fair points, really.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger.
Lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling. While the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Let's hold our breath as well.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
Begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
There, a hot flash of rage almost carries the smile away. Some dark peace.
And then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he gives. It's over. The case is over.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly. Very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
The motive is hatred.
You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
It's just sort of aimless hatred.
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity. I mean, it's like he sees Shivers, which is like the soul of the city, as like this homunculus of disgusting, inhumane activity that's grown out of like a failed ideological conquest. Like, Shivers is his enemy, just people living their lives, trying to rebuild something, not very well, let's say, and still clinging to a lot of the bad humanistic tendencies that we've always had of conquering other people, of exploiting them, of using political motivations to stamp out like smaller voices, and like so many bad things are going on in Martinez. But plenty of good is happening there too. I think that that's really what has made the difference between Harry and ending up more like the deserter, is that he can still see those good outcomes and is still willing to fight for them the right ways. At least the Harry we've built has been willing to fight for them the right ways, even if the right ways are slower and more painful. I think that without some kind of moral and spiritual and emotional resurrection that Harry had when he got out of the ice and sobered up, maybe we would have ended up like the deserter. Not for the same reasons, but with a similar kind of detachment to ourselves and the world.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
Helps him see all the shit.
It's just everything. Everything is the motive.
And if you don't like it,
Click.
If it's part of the shit you see.
then you pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift. Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
When did you first see the deceased?
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley. Her honor guard came in tow.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
Rich hag.
Wrinkled up whore.
Moving on. The victim arrives after some time.
They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reactionary radio playing, sloppy and drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and Mesk phalangs weren't conscripts. Boys like us. They were whites. All they know is to destroy and hurt.
Whites?
Barely alive. They like to kill while they're on their drugs. After the landing, in the burning years, I would take shots at them. End them. The worst ones, if I had a bullet to spare.
So he's taken out more of their
I
kind.
could see they've returned now to show their real face. The face they don't dare show their bourgeois voters back on Mundi with their families and polyester clothes.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
Okay, then. Jealous? I don't know, but I'm curious what he says.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood.
Man, this is where I struggle though with like I'm always going to keep that idea in my mind that it's tragic he ended up this way, but sitting in front of him today, I do think that it is our responsibility to change the corrupted ideas we have, and his ideas of humanity are just so far gone to the point where like it's just so fundamentally hateful.
To punish her.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Bru.
Some kind of hidden container on the coast. You looked into it?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean...
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks. And a body, hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
How did you see all of this?
I'm not blind, am I?
How does he know those minute details about her body? Good question.
He must have climbed to the roof, maybe.
Are you kidding me? What? That was like a 92%. Wow, Harry. I didn't even consider missing that one. How did you get close enough?
I have my ways.
Shit, we'll never know.
Been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints. You just changed your shoes.
Well, I guess, yeah, he could have been right next door.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
Thank God, the lieutenant is picking it up.
From our 92% failure.
That Nook too?
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
So he just was straight up looking through the window.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
This is
How
disturbing.
did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points towards the whirling in rags.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union box window.
You wanted to punish her, so you killed him.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
He shakes his head and stares at the ashes. I mean, to me, it seems like he sees like people so archetypal, like much like he represents communism. Maybe he feels like Glacia in some ways represents like innocence. I don't know. And the mercenary being like, yeah, fascist capitalistic conquest. And in a psychological way, like this is him working out the same ideological battle that he is waging despite the war being over. It's like class warfare, like he said.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf. Airport bag in hand. Silks flowing in her wake.
Interesting. I mean, Harry probably can relate in some ways, but we just went through sort of a healing arc with that. My personal healing arc at least coincides with it. And I want Harry to let it go too, for my own selfish sake. So I don't think this has anything to do with that.
It's no good, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening
Damn it!
air. It smells of burning buildings.
You saw through her, so did I. Yeah, it is tapping into Harry's own hatred of women due to his own trauma. But no, I'm not like that. I don't think like that. We've changed.
No one gives a shit what you think. You and your cronies kill 10 working class men a day. I've heard the statistics on Channel 8.
You had feelings for that woman, in a way.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again. A sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
And when was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
And I actually believe him. I really do think he doesn't know. Like, with all of the, like, cognitive sides of his humanity sort of washed away by years of isolation and, like, this intense hatred poisoning his ideas of humanity, I think that every once in a while, he probably gets in touch with, like, some genuine feelings, but they're not motivated by values or current thoughts. They're motivated behaviorally and instinctively because that's just how people are. And there is a nurturing instinct to humanity. And without real motivation and direction, it came out as just infatuation with someone he does not know, and then a feeling of needing to protect her from someone he thought was a threat or danger or didn't deserve her. Or, like, there's a lot of stuff going on here psychologically. Like, this is really, holy shit, there's a lot going on. He thought he was consoling her, I think.
Maybe. I told you.
He doesn't know.
Apples in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
I legit think he has no idea.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
Similar to how, like, it's saying he's having these sort of involuntary but instinctive muscular movements, I would imagine there's, like, involuntary muscular emotional movements that sort of show up in certain ways too.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
Okay, so it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
I'm not at liberty to say.
I know she's gone. Locked up, or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, at the fort. Like she knew. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Across the harbor, on the south bank of the River Esperance, white snow falls on a two-story box of duraluminum, Precinct 57, near the gates to Terminal H.
Look east.
Inside a cell, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol all at once, while two men in brown suits wave ICP badges at a young policeman. She hears the door open
Okay, so she's in jail.
and knows it's over. They've come for her. Outside, it's springtime. The river flows blue and green into the Bay of Martinez. There, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, two police officers and one special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a seafort stick out of the water, built by Philippe II, reappropriated by the Commune, then lost in the landing. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstam is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the three walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification in the snowfall, like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
Okay, so maybe that's our partners, our two partners.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Yes, well, it's good to know that Clausia lived happily ever after in the safety of um, the RCMs. Okay, yeah, look, I know that this means that she was killed, okay? Someone revealed it in the comment section many moons ago after I realized that arresting her would lead to this. But like I said, I couldn't have known that at the time. Not worth relitigating that again. But also, I'm okay with it. I did what I thought would make sense, not really knowing that this would work its way out. So
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. He likes talking. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
well, I do kind of want to know more. Anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
Yeah, man, it's like hating these things is what has kept him alive.
Detest pushes the cobwebs out of his eyes. Pushes the melancholy aside. He relishes it.
It's all he's living on, and it's so tragic. More specifically.
The whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that social democratic union and the farce of a social democrat who runs it.
So he's talking about the lorry driver and maybe Measurehead and Mr. Clare.
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Anything more?
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Once again, I have done a lot to repair this world and especially the people in it. And I have a lot of love for those people, especially this guy right here and those kids out there, okay? My tolerance to your perspective is withering away the more that you demonize those things. Is that all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too.
So Gaston and René.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Koyamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Man, yeah, what a contrast. Like, and what a brilliant introduction of this character at this point, after we've become so attached to Martinez and invested in like repairing it and all the people in it, and we have all these attachments and stories that we've told, and his view of them is just so behind any of the progress we've made. Like, all of the signs that we've pointed to as things may be changing for the better are his evidence that things have and never will change from being the worst they are.
That's all the rich really want. sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
I'm just gonna...
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word.
Disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Let's bring up Mr. Clare.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment, so personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
Who, Everclear?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
Edgar Clare.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
We're not the first people you've met from the city, are we?
Can't live alone.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard.
That's
Not all
true.
This time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
Wait. Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
Bro. It was Claire this whole time.
To ride off the boat and walk down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
What? Wait, so... Okay, I know that Edgar and Everett Clare are brothers, and... Have they been behind this the whole fucking time? Did they use this man's complete hatred for all of the remaining pieces of humanity that are left from failed war efforts to accomplish their own political aims? And did it just like neatly attach to his own sort of like emotional crisis with Clausia? When was this? What the fuck is going on?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
What is going on here?
It's around the time the Clears came to power.
What did you talk about?
God did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Mazov.
Fucking manipulators. They have been at the source.
Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here.
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Mr. Dross, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot? No, I don't think he did it for them. I think he did it for his own reasons. But it certainly benefited them.
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
God, they really are the masterminds.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something.
Oh, I gotta know this. Shit, though. Red check. Logic? God, I am tired of my logic holding me back. Look how many skill points I have, though. Fuck it. Let's ball. Dude, I gotta nail Evrart. I really hope I don't need these for something else. They've got to be 83%er.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
This is blowing my mind. Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glisten suddenly with hatred.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that Klassia.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black logs. Yeah. The contrast between who we might have been if we hadn't changed. It's like looking in a dusty mirror.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes on the dust. Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river. But truth.
Why?
Because she was dead.
How come?
Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job on a moving target.
So the Clares found this guy, tapped into his pain and the source of his hatred and used it for their own political gain. Yeah. Okay, to anyone in the comment section throughout the series who was like, I don't know, discouraging my festering dislike of Everett Clare, or I guess both of the Clares in this case, like, here at the end, I still have nothing good to say about them. Like, they are evil people. Evil, sick people who would take someone like this, who clearly needs help, and just use him for their own political gain. Like, just the same as they will with the fucking youth center. Like, fuck those guys. I don't care if they, like, produce good things for the world in the pursuit of being evil about it.
She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her and the ruins.
You shot her.
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is...
Another big spike of rage, different from the one he has for her.
nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
No, the Everts and Edgars of the world used you to usurp power in the name of revolution that never came.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk.
The lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if for nothing at all. Oh, if we can... Solving the case was cool, but if I could fucking nail the Claires, fuck those guys.
Track everything you've done and process you as a POW.
Absolutely.
In a war, you were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
Yes, let's go, Kim. Fuck yeah.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I
Damn
can
it.
say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, AM, Radio Revachol, late night.
Yeah, there was no way he was going to help us.
Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
He looks to the city.
The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
If nothing else, we did learn something that could help us put the squeeze on the Claires. Okay, I'm quite exhausted by talking to this guy at this point because it is so tragic and pessimistic, and you know, I know what he thinks about these things. It's okay to move on now. I'm glad we talked about this.
Glad?
Now.
It's all gone.
He stares into the dust at his feet, gray and dirty spring grass all around. Yosef Lilianovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of the colonel here in Martinez.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words.
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But
Kim, he's afraid.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Man, this is so fucking tough emotionally, though, because, like, on one hand, this guy is the absolute pinnacle of, like, misery and has done horrific things and has horrific ideas about the world and people, and some that are very disturbing and even disgusting. But at the same time, like, him balled up, terrified like this is, like, just the evidence that he never stopped being a 16-year-old who was just afraid of doing something he never should have had to do.
Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting blacker and blacker.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Yeah, there's no way I'm passing that. May as well try.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
We could all fit in the little boat?
Actually, no.
Does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here. But
But then, Who watches him while you're coming back here?
Yeah, who watches him while I come back for you?
You come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't.
Lillian, you could ask her maybe.
We could ask Lillian.
This is no harmless old man.
Lieutenant shakes his head.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now.
Dang. I wish I could have passed that perception check. Well, I mean, I guess Kim is the more trustworthy of the two of us. You could come back from me once you've taken him to the precinct.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
No need to be polite. I'll do it.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this...
His voice drowns out in a sudden gush of wind.
Your skin is crawling suddenly.
What is happening? What is that? What? Wait, what?
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Wait, what? It's the Phasmid? What is that?
What are you talking about?
That giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
Wait, what?
You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
We gotta defend ourselves. It's there! I see it, Kim! Look, it's the Phasmid!
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
See it.
Kim can see it!
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means
Why can't he see it?
it's really there.
Draw us.
Slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step towards the giant anthropod. What the fucking hell is going on?
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from his head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away.
I gotta tell Morel. I gotta tell Lena. I gotta tell fucking Gary. Guys, the Phasmid, it's real. I found it.
The segmented antennae move with apprehension, searching for something that's not there. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
This is the Insulindian Phasmid, Kim.
It is.
This is... The lieutenant whispers behind you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping, slowly, painstakingly so. What is he doing? Is he taking a picture of it? Oh my god. This is like the ultimate Calvin and Hobbes adventure ending. Like being out in the park and discovering that some sort of whimsical fantasy that we've had actually turns out to be fucking real this whole time. And finally, Kim, who has doubted without sufficient evidence that this thing was real, and now he can nothing but admit that it is. And he, like me, basks in the childlike wonder of seeing something that you never thought possible.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
He is taking a picture. Are you sure you won't scare it
We
off?
need a photo. No one will believe us.
Kim, he believed all along. I fucking knew it.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
Oh, okay, take the picture really quick.
With the sound of metal sliding against metal, the lieutenant reveals the lens. The glass glints in his hand as he begins to slide in an ampoule. You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. The motions are quick, sudden. Something cracks in the lieutenant. He's letting his pride get in the way.
The ampoule will produce a loud hiss. You're right. It could scare it away. I need a better moment when it's not looking.
I'll wait. I'm on standby, he thinks. His hands around the machine.
Okay, we have to soothe it first.
The mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air. Slowly.
Okay, we're gonna approach it because, man, look at all the fucking things we've done. We've been through Lena's childhood experience. Our corpse will be marked by stars, the miracle, way out in the west. And we laid the pheromone on thick. This is it. This is it!
With your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemicals. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Oh my god. Can we pet the phasmid? Raise your hand slowly.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence. No, stop. Be afraid.
No, I'm not afraid of this creature. I feel comforted by its presence.
As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you. Shifting around in the reeds around it, in the muddy water, you notice some of its hind legs apparently standing on the water from time to time. It's that light.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Get on your tiptoes and look more closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
Oh, man. We didn't give up on the phasmid. 97%er.
I exist.
What? What is happening here? I always fucking knew you were real. I exist too, phasmid.
Tell me what it's like for you.
To exist? It's... what will happen if I tell
Tell
you?
you what it's like for me.
It's like a child. For me, it's fire burning. I think this is true. It is difficult to exist.
Fire? Where?
Inside. Or on the horizon, pale fire, this thing we're both sensing is coming to an end, this world.
That is your problem. Nothing ever ends for me. There is only room for 2, maybe 3 pictures in my mind. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
Intruded upon by what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never burn.
The fuck is happening to me right now?
You're just a shadow for me, far away, faintly transmitting, but for a curious smell.
I'm glad to be me. An incredibly sensitive instrument. Damn, I feel that in my bones. I didn't always feel this way. I've often felt like it's regrettable to be me, but today I feel this. I am glad to be me. An incredibly sensitive instrument.
Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass. Eternal damnation, even when you're sleeping. And when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you.
It is hard, Phasmid. It's hard to be a human. And it's hard for every single one of us. No matter who it is, it's hard. But it is worth it. It's very disorienting at first, but I'm keeping my shit together.
That must be incredibly hard. The Arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we're watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up. Bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater.
This childlike insect creature is very strange, but very healing to talk to for some reason.
In honor of your will, Lieutenant Euphrater, that you kept from falling apart in the face of sheer terror, day after day, second by second. Detective, arriving.
On the scene! I knew it! Ah, something has deeply healed in us. God damn, it's beautiful. It's like this entity, this invisible but omnipresent being. Something has been rooting for us this whole time, even when we doubted it ourselves. I'm a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
I was born to detect you.
Yes. No one detected me for such a long, long time. For thousands of years. I dithered, out of sight. Trapped myself in greenery.
Can you hear this, Kim? Are you hearing this, or are you just seeing it as well? This is my
No
masterpiece.
one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective. Dripping of blood that smells like strawberries. Across the calm sea. The first in 1,000 years.
Is this a dream? What is happening?
No, you're awake. am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmadia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that help it maintain its camouflage.
Maybe so.
Gone unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51.
Where does this come from, all of this, around us, the world? Speak to me, Phasmid, of this reality. You must have some unknowable secrets about it that I could never grasp.
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
We need to know. Or then all we can do is beat our fists against it, day after day, with no answer?
You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
Wait, so
You look like a reed and you eat reeds?
Yes, they don't mind.
Have you accidentally eaten another reed, Phasmid?
Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident.
Oh my god, Phasmid! I'm so sorry for surfacing that terrible memory. Are you poisonous?
Yes, I do not have a starter display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry. It is only destructive over long periods of time.
the deserter, he's been here for a long time.
Are you the miracle?
No, you are the miracle.
What? How?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet.
I'm the miracle?
The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
Okay, so the pale is human-made. I have suspected this.
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
I mean, my idea of the pale has been that it was like the consequence of people being terrible to each other, and that erodes away reality, both in a literal and I guess in this sense, a metaphorical sense. Like, obviously, the worse we are to each other, the more we destroy reality by blowing it up. But the pale is like the metaphysical, like reality literally is eaten away by the inhumanity of our actions towards one another. Do we really have that kind of power?
A violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
How?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget?
But I want to blink and undo 12 billion years of matter expansion. This is the gloaming I've been waiting for ever since I woke up in the hotel room. I've already forgotten the whole world once when I drank too much. No, I will be extra, extra careful not to blink stick insect. Don't worry. I will repair this world by doing good in it. By reversing the pale with empathy.
Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sigh, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Let's get Kim involved here. Am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Okay, then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
Sort of.
I think we should take the picture, and you should back away from the unstudied species.
That is the most Kim and Harry interaction of this entire game. Oh my god, this is just brilliant. I'm the miracle Kim! I have given life to reality and this childlike insect. But I will also destroy it purely by accident. I have to say goodbye now. Unfortunately, insects. That was all.
No, there is one more.
You're the most kindest creature of all those I've met.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class.
What? The Phasmid is... I guess you really can't run from politics. Which woman?
You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it.
Yeah. That woman. That woman we all have somewhere in our soul, whether it's a woman or it's someone or something else. It is the inner inferno. And I will step away from it.
She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
This is just blowing my mind too much. Kim, take the fucking picture.
Okay.
With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The Phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds in the sky, and you as a shadow before it. Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. The sensation is electrifying, resounding through your body.
Healing! This is a true healing moment.
It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Look at your finger.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
Is it appropriate to do this? Why don't I give its scythe-like forearm a pet
The
first?
limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing.
Oh, it's so fragile.
Warning! It's about to move. You can sense it.
Shall we go higher?
A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High above you, its black pearl eyes still glisten, mesmerized by the light passing its nervous system.
Okay, let's go for it.
It
Fuck it.
tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reeds pointing from limb and head alike. Odorless, mostly comprised of water.
We got it.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
Goodbye, Phasmid. I will save the world. With empathy. I won't blink it out of existence.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
What's it got? What did it leave us?
It's gone.
The lieutenant looks north with his hand raised to his brow. What is that? In the reeds.
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What? It can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
It's all 80 hours of the series have been worth a morsel of amazement from Kim. What now?
What now?
Oh, yeah. Completely forgot about that guy. I think both of us did. Just caught the criminal for the case, and we've also just been like, but wait, there's a water strider over here. Let's take a picture and pet it. He's put his hand into the ash, dirty and
some
black.
kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Cleaning out the rooms.
Okay.
What if you didn't lose your memory? What if something in Martinez came and stored it all away, for you to slowly open one box at a time, so you can choose which parts to keep? Keep almost none of it. Only the flowers on the windowsill. Only the distant sound of a radio. Lose all the actors, the dark shadows. Leave only the still lifes, the blissful distant wash of waves. If everybody knew, you never did. She'll be coming soon. That is all.
What? Isn't that like exactly what I've been saying this whole journey has been about? Like, as we rediscover who we were, is can we sort of keep what was good and leave what wasn't? Wake up in a new life by the seaside. Oh, this is beautiful. What? Oh my god. The helmet and the rifle. What the hell? I think it left behind eggs, maybe.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
Could you not see the phasmid? Bro.
See.
He stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Doras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing, like an addict of some terrible substance.
Was he like affected by the phasmid in some way? Let's give him a shoulder nudge.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
Does it?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
What has happened to this man?
Old age and shock.
But what if it's the phasmid, Kim?
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
Uh-huh.
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke. Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
He couldn't see it, Kim. It's just the reads for
It
him.
could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dross,
Touches the man's
No
shoulder.
response.
Maybe this is how the phasmid has stayed hidden all of these years.
then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
Yes, you forget it's there.
Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds?
The man has holes in his brain, Kim.
The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse.
Nurse Kim. When I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely animated. What was going on
He
there?
was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse.
Perhaps this animation is induced by something in the phasmid.
It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. It is psychoactive.
Okay.
I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall.
He takes off his glasses and cleans them. When he puts them back on, you know, I never expected Kim to be the type to, once he faces a moment of enlightenment, to completely discard all his objective observation skill set. He's just like, fuck it, I'll believe anything, yeah. I love that, though. I love that about you, Kim. I hope you stay this way. I think he's addicted to that thing.
Like a drug?
He has the symptoms of an addict and not the normal symptoms.
His pupils appear to be dilated. They still are.
Examines the catatonic man's
It's
eyes.
not just chemical.
It's as if he's infatuated with it.
Some kind of oxytocin release mechanism? Would go with the pupils. But this is way above me, detective.
It definitely is toxic, it told me.
Told you? Yes, good. Long staring match. I understand.
I love how he doesn't even try to fight anymore. He's just like, okay. He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it in his company?
He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe.
He looks at his notebook.
I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
Yes, indeed. We found some things in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Dross.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him.
Show
Perhaps
him
you should.
his ceramic helmet.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is. The last embers have gone out. The war is over.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
Kim is about to become like a lifelong phasmid hunter. He's going to end up just like Lena and Morel. Show him the scope.
I lost.
You lost it, Mr. Dross?
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie phasmid.
The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hand.
This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you rest now, Mr. Dross.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker.
Hang tight.
We should think about getting back to the mainland to get help. He'll be safe here if we don't take too long.
Oh my god. So many things just happened. My brain may need a moment to process. I kind of thought this was going to be the last episode, but perhaps it's not. There's still time to roll credits on all of this adventure here. And I might have quite a bit to say about that. This has already been 3 hours at this point that I've been recording this episode, so I guess we still got one more in us. So, I will see you again for the actual last episode of Therapist Plays Disco Elysium. I guess next time. I'm sure there will be even more to unpack when we get there. But for now, I'm just glad we were here. Just me and you, Kim. It's always been me and you. All right. I'll see you again for the actual finale next time. Take care, everyone.